Because the internet is not anonymous. Everything you do is recorded, saved, cataloged, collated, stored, and resold. And if you can protect your identity, if you want to log into sites, if you want to just browse and research something, you should be able to do it without having everything bought, sold, and recorded without your knowledge. Well, so in a functioning democracy, nothing. As long as you're aware of it, that's fine. It's when you're not in a functioning democracy, in a dictatorship or in some hostile situation where simple things you do online can become criminal acts, defined as criminal acts, or be used against you to expose you or your network or your family or your friends without your knowledge. That's when lack of privacy and anonymity becomes a large problem. Some concrete examples are in Iran, the Green Party. They've been using Tor heavily for years to avoid surveillance and avoid having their network of activists and dissidents and supporters exposed. There are some who want to be public, who want to get arrested for the publicity. There are the vast majority who do not want to ever show up on a radar anywhere. And same with people who leave the country. You know, many Iranians go to school in Europe and America and Canada, and they don't want their families back at home to become a target of any state apparatus simply for what they do, what they eat when they're outside the country. We have worked with a number of Iranians who, when they go back home for Ramadan or some holiday, they're forced to log into their Facebook accounts and their Twitter accounts, and the government already has a list of everything they've done online, and down to sometimes their IP addresses, their home addresses, everything they've ordered from Amazon, everything they've done, whatever, and that shocks the students coming back home, and it shocks the families that they suddenly become a target because of what their son or daughter has done outside the country. And that's just one example.
Julie says...
No, they're going to send a new one tonight. Yeah. Thanks.
Inside Syria, because there's only one way in and out of the internet, and the government controls it all, if you are on the opposition, you care a lot about making sure you don't expose who you are and where you are. So as you're uploading footage or pictures of the atrocities happening inside Syria, you probably don't want that to come back to you or anyone you're with. So a lot of people use Tor to expose what's going on. So it's not our system. Tor does not actually run the Tor network. We rely on 5,000 volunteers in 79 countries to run the Tor network. And this is by design, one, so that criminals and unfriendly people cannot come to us and say, we'll give you $1 billion if you expose all your users. We don't have the ability to expose our users. This also works for law enforcement, whether from a legitimate or government or not, to come to us and say, please expose the following users. There is no lawful intercept, there is no capability of lawful intercept built into Tor. The battle, you called it, is more of an arms race or a cat and mouse game where we roll out some technology because it's freely available open source software. Anybody can download it, look through it, figure out how it works, and then try to block it in their national firewalls. And they do. I mean, Iran, China, Syria, Eritrea, Kazakhstan, the UK, Belgium, France, they've all rolled out ways to try to investigate Tor and block Tor, or at least discover who's using Tor when. And we have a team of researchers who think about these things all day long and figure out what are 5 steps ahead. So they block capability A, we move to capability B. They block capability B, we move to capability C. In some cases, they unblock A, so then the old stuff works again, because they figure it's an endless progressive arms race and not something that we can ever go back and think about.